The runes for Udyr. Listen, I've done a lot of videos where I talk about runes, and in this one, I have no fucking clue. Like, Udyr's still a champion in the game, and that's crazy enough in itself. But the fact that Udyr can run runes, that's extra crazy. So let me just take a swing at it here. I'm guessing that with Udyr Jungle, the only viable version of him is Tiger form currently. Because if you look at all of these runes, these all fucking suck for Phoenix form. There's just nothing really going for it. Maybe you could do something with Unsealed Spellbook in which you could make Phoenix work with, I don't know, like basically a Singed build. And this would be in the top lane too. So you would have Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, and whatever the fuck else. And you could get some good value out of that because you would basically be running around as a lot of stats, and then where you'd be getting the only value out of your champion would be through the summoner spells offered from Unsealed Spellbook. And if you're using Phoenix, you are like a really bad version of Singed with this. So I wouldn't recommend that. If you're playing Udyr in the jungle, which is probably his only role really, well, I mean, he does work into top lane. He works into melee top laners, oddly enough, because of his stats. So if you're playing him in the jungle, let's confine it. If you're playing him in the jungle, I think that your best bet is going to be... You have the option to press the attack and conquer. Conquer giving you more power as it gives you more bonus AD. That's going to give you more damage on your Tiger stance. And then press the attack, giving you better skirmishes. So whenever you're ganking or 2v2ing, press the attack's not only going to be giving you extra damage, but then also increasing all the damage that the enemy takes after the 3 auto attacks. So it exposes them to the damage from your laners as well as your own damage. So I think in general, Conquer is going to be more useful because giving yourself more bonus AD gives you more power in Udyr or for yourself. So whenever you're invading or skirmishing, Conquer is just going to be better as in a solo queue setting where it's all about how much damage you're dealing, not so much setting your ally up for damage and then or getting more damage on a gank. As if you're getting a gank off as Udyr, holy shit, it probably worked anyways. So with Conquer, your basic attacks and spells that deal damage to enemy champions grant you 2 stacks of Conquer for 6 seconds. Those Conquer stacks give you bonus adaptive force for Udyr in the jungle. It's probably going to be attack damage. Stacking up to 10 times, and then once it's fully stacked, you heal for 15% of the damage that you deal to champions. So the healing is kind of whatever on Udyr. In combination with the W, it's cool. It keeps you alive, but only briefly. But if you're in a 1v1 with the enemy jungler, that healing is really, really strong. If you're in a 2v2, it's kind of strong. If you're in a 5v5, nobody cares that you're healing like 100 from Conquer maybe. So really pick and choose your fights given the keystone and the champion and the items that you're working with Udyr. For the second rune, since you're in the precision tree, I think Triumph's going to be your best bet. You don't need the extra mana from Presence of Mind, and Overheal Shield is really negligible and impossible to build up in the jungle in general. With Triumph, takedowns restore 12% of your missing health and grant you additional 20 gold. So just gives you more health to play with, and that's going to be Udyr's main resource in the jungle. For the third rune, you have good options in Alacrity and Legend Tenacity. I think Alacrity is probably going to be your best bet, oddly enough. I think Udyr is going to stick on targets or he's not. And you're going to be able to stick on targets anyways with the secondary runes because of Nimbus Cloak. But we'll come back to that. So with the attack speed, it's going to help you get more damage off, and it's really important that you have faster auto attacks, as it's really hard to stay on top of targets when you're auto attacking as Udyr. So the faster you auto attack, literally, like the easier it is to stay on a target. That attack speed is also going to be giving you more damage with the Conquer and then with the Tiger stance. For the fourth rune, you have good options in Coup de Grace or Last Stand. I think you should go with Last Stand, as it generally just gives you more damage and would function better given how Udyr functions, where you're trying to spend your health early to deal damage to the enemy and then also build up Conquer. And then with Last Stand, you deal more damage based on how low you are. So you deal 5 to 11% increased damage while you're below 60% HP, and then max damage is gained at 30% HP. With Coup de Grace, you deal 8% more damage to champions who are less than 40% health. So it's going to help you kill targets that you were probably killing anyways. But Coup de Grace is more useful in a 1v1 when you have the catch on an enemy. So in jungle matchups in which you know you can invade at certain times and then you want that to be as successful as possible, Coup de Grace is completely fine. And if you're running press the attack as well, I suppose coup de grace would probably be a bit better, as it's going to help you get the target lower faster. And then in combination with your laner's damage on a gank, then coup de grace, you'd be able to get that bonus damage from coup de grace a lot faster versus not, because if you just don't give them below 40% health, then you can't really make use of that bonus percentage damage. And if you don't get the bonus percentage damage on your Q, then it's like almost entirely wasted anyways. For the secondary rune options, I think none of them are even close to Nimbus Cloak plus Celerity for Udyr. Like, you could run Water Walking for extra gank potential, but I think that Nimbus Cloak and Celerity is just so incredibly important for Udyr. It's how you stick onto targets and really how you function like as a champion. With Nimbus Cloak, after you cast a summer spell, you gain a movement speed increase that lasts for 2.5 seconds and allows you to pass through units. The movement speed increase is based... you go faster based on the cooldown of the summer spell. So whenever you're smiting, it's not as fast as flashing, but whenever you flash, the movement speed reward for doing so is better. So helps you run away from a target, and it helps you run down a target. And yeah, it just helps you both offensively and defensively. Super, super useful rune. And then with Celerity, all movement speed bonuses are 7% more effective, and you gain 1% movement speed. So this in combination with your passive and Nimbus Cloak is just really, really incredibly important for Udyr, because if he doesn't stay on a target, then he's not a champion. He's a really ugly minion at that point. And I don't think you're going to outweigh this with like any of the other options in the secondary trees. Like, you could run Domination with like Cheap Shot and then like Ravenous Hunter. Yes, you can get this bonus damage a lot, and then yes, you can heal from your abilities, but it's like if you're not staying on the target, none of that matters. You could have extra survivability with like Bone Plating and Overgrowth, but it's like you're not playing in a lane, so that loses a ton of value in itself too. So with Jungle Udyr, I don't think anything even comes close to outweighing Nimbus Cloak and Celerity. And then for the shards, I think it's always going to be attack speed, adaptive force, and armor. The attack speed giving you more damage to camps, and then once you get on a target, basically converting into more damage because of Tiger Stance. And that's really that. And for top lane Udyr, I suppose that the defensive options for the secondary runes would be more viable, as Bone Plating would help you in the laning phase against melee champions, and then Overgrowth gives you a little bit of health for free. I don't know if Revitalize would be that good or not. I suppose it'd be okay, given that you can have healing from the Conqueror and from Udyr's W, but I'm not entirely sure, as his champion's completely ancient, and that's that. So yeah, that's really my thoughts on Udyr runes. He's a really ancient champion. Can't wait for them to update him. If this video helped you, leaving a like on the video helps me. If you enjoy this type of content, you should subscribe. You should. It's a fact. It's just League of Legends content. You'll enjoy it, man. And yeah, twitch.tv/SorryNelson. Links in the description. If you play Udyr, good luck, man. Good luck.